Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings upon you all. Welcome back to our continuing podcast here with Lisa Firestone. Good morning, Lisa. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Samaya. Very good. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yes, hope you're enjoying this beautiful summery weather. And today we will be talking about how do we express compliments and gratitude, appreciation, according to nonviolent communication principles. If you'd like to tell us about that.
Right. Thank you. Actually, it's such a wonderful topic because especially for parents, it can really change the dynamic of how our children perceive themselves.
Mhm.
So the simplest way to begin this is to um, just to reflect, like when someone said something you did. Let's say you did something and they said, "Oh, that was amazing,"
Mhm.
or um, "Did you enjoy that presentation?" Yeah, it was nice. um, like just curious, like how are you left when you hear that? Is it
You mean if somebody compliments me?
or just yeah, when you hear things like that's amazing or oh nice, it was great, he was awesome. I mean, these are language, this is the way we speak in our culture, but does it leave you wanting more when you hear it? Is there anything?
Yes, actually, that happens to me pretty often. In fact, like sometimes I share something with a person, and then the reaction it's can come across as being a bit superficial. Does that make sense? Like, okay,
Very,
nice,
very much, yes.
well,
It's
great. It's almost like I'm
mm,
seeing something that is deeper. Maybe that's just my personality, but I'm seeing that it's something that's more deeper and substantial and reflective and insightful.
right, right. There's a beautiful, it's not a nonviolent text, but there's a beautiful phrase that comes from Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, and he says, "Be impeccable with your word." And the way I see that applied in expressing appreciation and nonviolence is that there's a way we can do this which will really clarify and empower ourselves and the other to really understand what it is that is so is that creates this appreciation. So for example, when I first saw you, my inclination was to say, "Awesome, Maya, you look so pretty." But what what that is actually a judgment. I'm judging you. I mean, it's a compliment, but I'm judging you. She's pretty. He's ugly. Whatever. There's a way that we do that unconsciously because that's how our culture has um, created the dynamic. When we speak nonviolently, we want to express an appreciation. There's three little steps that Marshall Rosenberg talks about, and he says to really distinguish the components, like the action or the thing that contributes to our well-being, the need that it fulfills, and the feelings that come from that. So
Okay, so how would I express appreciation if my son comes home from school and he's done this artwork, for example?
okay, great. So the first inclination might be to say, "Oh, beautiful, great job. Oh, what an artist you are," right? That's kind of what we do because we think we're building up our child. But actually, what might be more supportive to him is to say, to get, first of all, to connect. We're going to do an OFNR. So I'm going to observe and I'm going to say what I feel and need. But since it's my child, I also want to express appreciation and seek to connect to the feelings and needs inside of him. So I might start by saying, "Oh, I see so much color there.
Mhm.
Can you share more about what you were coloring when you created that?" And what does he say?
Um, this is the theme of entering into springtime. These are colors from spring.
Entering into
Spring.
springtime. Okay, now here's how I'm going to express an appreciation. Wow, when I see those beautiful colors, it makes me feel like I'm in the joy of spring. And that just really brings me joy and helps me feel relaxed. And so I expressed a feeling and a need, and I appreciate the way you used color for spring. And so now I can check in with him. How was that for you to hear? Or um, just, what is that what you were thinking of? Just to really check in and
Yes. So then he might say something like, yes, this is the stream, it's the water. There's still some autumn leaves over here, but the colors coming out.
right. Now here's a note, like I'm noticing even in myself, just like a genuine, authentic appreciation. Like, oh, I really appreciate that there's some colors of autumn that are still there, even as the spring is coming up. And that there's water, that this water is a part of that natural world. Like I can genuinely appreciate that. And that's so much, like, so as a child, and then of course to express, oh, that's just helping me really appreciate, love the change of seasons and appreciate all the bright colors and the way that you could think of all those different seasons in one painting. So do you see how different that is from amazing, great job?
Right. So if I understand correctly, so when you're expressing appreciation, the person who is conveying the appreciation, not you have to, I know you don't like the word have to, nobody has to do anything.
Good catch.
It would be more meaningful to express that this thing that you are presenting to me or to the world, I see some value and beauty in it. And by you putting this forth to the world, this thing that I am appreciating is fulfilling some kind of need within me. And I express that to you.
Bingo. And to really be specific, yes, to be very specific, it's what you did here that contributed to that need in me, that feeling and that need.
Okay. And then do you want to talk about, you were saying that in doing this with a child, especially, you are cultivating within that child, connecting to a certain value system that maybe you as a parent are trying to cultivate within the child, nurture within the
Yes.
child. Is that correct?
Yes. So here in the bigger picture, here's something really, really important, that how we express appreciation is an expression of how we use power. So if I say, oh, that's amazing, or, if my child tells me he just had a soccer game and my first question is, did you win? I'm what I'm doing is I'm looking at, I'm addressing where there's this power differential, that I'm an authority. For example, even the grading system, this got an A and this got an F. What happens is, as students go through school, they start to try to get those A's. They disconnect from that intrinsic longing to learn and desire, because they get structured into a system where they just need to get the A. So when I express an appreciation for what needs are met in me, I'm also holding that person with equal power by refraining from judging. So instead of saying great job or amazing or yay, you won, I might address, wow, regardless of whether the child won the soccer game, I might say, wow, when you took that ball away from that player and took it all the way across the field, that was extraordinary to watch. I felt so exhilarated watching that, because I could see the courage it took to get in there and met needs in me. So now it's irrelevant whether the child won or lost the game. What I'm doing is acknowledging the effort and the feelings and needs of the child, and what feelings and needs it touches in me.
Okay, and I've got a question regarding that. If a person says something to you and it seems quite obvious or clear that this person is seeking or expecting some kind of validation or compliment for that thing, but to you is actually not like a thing, and we generally say, oh, that's nice, well done, that's good, and we say that very superficially. So are you saying that then if we want to be authentic in NVC, that if you don't actually, if it's not really fulfilling a need in you, but you just want to be a kind friend and be in a way empathetic because you want to help that person feel the feelings of validation and all that, is it disingenuous to say something? Do we not say anything at all?
Oh, actually, that's a great question. I think, without having an example, what I'm hearing you say is, if it's not meeting a need in me, but I want to be supportive and
Right.
encouraging, might I just, like, would it be disingenuous to express an appreciation if I'm not feeling it?
Yeah, maybe you don't like the kind of music that they made with their band. It's not your type of genre. Maybe you don't really appreciate their artwork. Maybe you don't really care to listen to the podcast that they did last week.
Right. Well, you know something? That's a great question. So let's say if it's the music that they're creating, if it doesn't speak to you at all, you're not feeling that appreciation, sometimes um, just allowing like acknowledging what it meets in them can be very connecting without, um, without not at the expense of authenticity. You can still be very authentic and saying, wow, that song you created, that lively song is making you dance, makes you feel joyful. Like I can acknowledge their feelings and needs without necessarily expressing mine.
So then what need is it fulfilling in you? Is it fulfilling the need in you to be to be supportive?
As a
Because that's one
parent,
of your,
I might choose to be supportive and encouraging as much as I can. It's not like it's ever required, um, but I know, and it's interesting. I'm reflecting even on my own experience. Yeah, I'd like to just draw from my own experience here because I grew up in a very performance-based um, unit, in my family and culture and school and education. And it was very performance-based. And because of that, I never really got the sense of acknowledgement for the effort of the dynamic of what was alive in me when I was doing something. So over time, I disconnected from it. But there was one woman in my life, and when she would speak to me, she never spoke about herself. She never expressed an appreciation the way that my expression met her needs for her. But what she would do is be fully present with me and alive to my feelings and needs. And she was an acting teacher, and she would say, she would listen to me, fully present. She'd go, you love ballet. You love to move and dance. And like she would name those things in me that never got named. Oh, that makes you feel so joyful to dance. And she never had to say how it affected her. But she, by acknowledging what was alive in me, wow, that one human being made a huge difference in my life. Like I can feel this, couple of tears and appreciation for that acknowledgement and that sense of really being seen
it's
for
truly
what was
being
going on.
seen. Exactly. It's like you get me, you see what's under the surface for sure.
Oh, and you know something? As children, if you remember, what we are looking for is that sense of being seen. I make sense. Someone gets me. And then we can do it on our own as we get older. Yeah.
Right. When it comes to things that might be superficial, for example, oh, I really like your bag or your shoes or your scarf or something like that. How would one address those things which are very material and you know, would you say that that fulfills a sense of a need for beauty? Like,
Hmm.
hmm?
Yeah. So are you saying if someone says that to you or if you like someone else's
Um,
material?
what, because as you were saying that there's in NVC, it's not advisable to just say that's nice, that's good, that's amazing. You should go a bit deeper and actually speak more to what need that thing is fulfilling. So,
Yeah. And it's a good question, Samaya. What I'm hearing is like, how can you maintain authenticity when it feels maybe it just feels a little unnatural? Like, oh, that meets needs to me for beauty. Like, yeah, like who talks like that? So what I like to do, and what I've noticed people have done with me when I've said something like, oh, that was a really great presentation, they'll go, Lisa, would you tell me what it was I did? What it was about that you liked? So if someone has a handbag, like my daughter's really into handbags, she's marketing handbags now. I was like, oh, really? Wow, I like the gold handles on that. It's such a striking contrast for me to see that. Like, what is it about that thing?
okay, so just to give more detail.
Yeah, just what it is that you like. And there's I think it's really important. There's a lot of emphasis in nonviolence now, really on what we call street giraffe, like just be real, to say it meets needs in me for beauty, and like
Yeah, no one speaks like that. It
no one
meets
speaks like
me.
that. But it's to just kind of, oh, I love the gold handle on that. Oof, that's that. It's gonna probably come through us that we're just gonna use words that are judgments. Sometimes I still love to say that's cool, but I say it in choice. I'm fully aware of what it is, and it also meets needs in me for just like authenticity and ease in the moment. Like, yeah, that's cool. But if I'm more connected with myself and I want to really create connection with someone, I might say, wow, hearing how you responded to that situation, that's cool. I feel inspired, like I loved it. Wow, I hope I could, without getting into a lot of detail, there's just some authenticity there about the specificness to it. And when I say, you tell me how you responded to a situation, and I go, that's cool. I'm inspired. Hope I can do the same. You get much more information than me just going, oh, yeah, amazing. Yeah, wondering how that's landing.
Mhm. So in summary, to build more deeper connection with whoever you are speaking with, one should aim to think more in terms of how this thing that is being appreciated is connected to some kind of a value.
Yeah,
Principle.
what is it that has happened, or what is the thing that was done or that I appreciate and why I appreciate? So what is it I appreciate and why do I appreciate it? What does it do for me? You see, it also takes, when we judge, there's kind of a detachment to it, like, great, that's amazing. But when I actually say how it affects me, it really opens up this door to who I am, what matters, you know.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you want to add on the topic?
No, I hope this is helpful, and that
Yes.
especially with the children, that it can be helpful.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're
See you
welcome.
soon.
You
Okay,
bet.
bye.